Did you know the little things people do when they think no one's watching tell you more about who they are than anything they say? It's true. You don't need a big, dramatic moment to figure someone out. All it takes is paying attention to the details, the way they treat a stranger, how they react when things don't go their way, or the energy they bring when no one's keeping score. And here's the kicker. These small moments aren't just about other people. They're about you too. If you want better relationships, a stronger circle, and more kindness in your life, you've got to start embodying those traits yourself. So how do you read between the lines? How do you spot those aha moments where true colors shine? And more importantly, how do you make sure you're putting the right energy into the world? Stick around, because we're diving deep into the things that really matter: honesty, self-reflection, and those tiny moments that speak the loudest. Let's get into it. Number 1, own it and do better. Self-reflection is key. Let's be real, none of us are perfect. We've all had those moments where we messed up. Maybe it was something small, like forgetting to text a friend back or snapping at someone after a bad day. Or maybe it was bigger, a situation that left you feeling like, dang, I really dropped the ball there. And you know what? That's okay. We're human. We screw up sometimes. Here's the thing though, owning it is where the magic happens. You ever notice how much respect you gain for someone who just says sorry and means it? Think about that moment someone admitted they were wrong without excuses. No awkward justifications, no gaslighting, no finger-pointing, just a simple, you know what, I messed up. That's on me. I'm sorry. Doesn't that hit differently? See, how we handle failure says a lot about who we are. I'm not talking about massive life failures here. I'm talking about the little tests life throws at us every single day. How you show up when nobody's watching. How you react when someone tells you no. Do you sulk? Do you lash out? Or do you take a deep breath, own your part, and commit to doing better next time? Because here's the truth. Self-reflection is a skill. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. It starts with asking yourself the hard questions. Why did I react like that? Was that fair? Was I being honest with myself and others? We've all had moments where we didn't like what the mirror reflected back at us. And yeah, it stings a little, but growth always does. Remember being a kid and getting called out for something? Maybe it was by a parent, teacher, or that brutally honest friend who always said what you needed to hear, not what you wanted to. At the time, it probably felt embarrassing or unfair, but looking back now, don't those moments stand out as the ones that shaped you? Those were the times someone held you accountable, and as much as you hated it then, it made you better. Now that we're adults, no one's going to hold us accountable unless we do it ourselves. No one's going to sit you down and say, hey, you need to do better. That's on you. The good news? Owning your mistakes is a superpower. It makes you stronger, wiser, and, most importantly, real. So ask yourself this: how do you handle those little moments of failure? When you get called out, whether by someone else or just that voice in your head, do you lean in and learn, or do you shut down? Owning it doesn't just make you a better person. It makes you the kind of person others want to trust. And if you're honest, you know the people who stand tall, admit when they're wrong, and grow from it. They're the ones you'd want in your corner. Number 2, you attract what you exude. Be the energy you want. Have you ever walked into a room and just felt someone's energy? You know the kind of people I'm talking about, the ones who light up a space the moment they step in. It's not because they're the loudest or the most outgoing. It's because they're exuding something positive: kindness, confidence, authenticity. And you can't help but feel drawn to them. On the flip side, we've all been around the opposite kind of energy too. The ones who suck the life out of the room. Negative, judgmental, always complaining, and it doesn't take long before you start to feel drained just being around them. So here's the big question. What energy are you bringing into the world? The truth is, you attract what you exude. If you put out kindness, you're going to attract kindness. If you lead with respect, you'll get it back. But if you're putting out negativity, well, don't be surprised when life feels heavy. We're all out here trying to make connections, trying to find our people, but it starts with you. Think about the best relationships in your life, your friends, your partner, your family. What makes those bonds so strong? I bet it's not just that they make you laugh or that they're fun to be around. It's because they show up for you. They bring good energy into your life. And you do the same for them. Remember the first time someone really believed in you? Maybe it was a coach, a boss, or even a friend who hyped you up when you needed it most. Their belief in you changed the way you saw yourself, didn't it? That's the power of positive energy. It lifts people up. And whether you realize it or not, you have that power too. I want you to think back to a time you made someone's day. Maybe you gave a stranger a compliment, helped a coworker out of a tough spot, or showed up for a friend when they didn't expect it. You didn't do it for applause. You did it because that's who you are. And that good energy, it ripples out. So here's a challenge. What kind of energy are you putting out right now? Are you the person others can lean on, the one who inspires, encourages, and brings light? Or are you letting negativity get the best of you? Because here's the deal. You can't control everything life throws at you, but you can control what you bring to the table. And when you exude the good stuff, it's amazing how life starts to give it back. Number 3, the biggest aha moments. When true colors show. All right, let's talk about those moments when people show you their true colors. You know the ones I mean, the little cracks where someone's real character peeks through. Maybe it's how they treat the waiter when no one's looking, or the way they react when you share good news. At first, it seems small, right? But those little moments, they tell you everything. We all have that one story. You're out to dinner with someone, and they're charming, funny, totally on point, until the server brings the wrong drink. Suddenly, it's like a switch flips. That charm disappears, and they're snapping at the poor server over a Sprite. And in that moment, you can't help but think, oh, this is who you really are. Here's the thing. People can put on a front when they're trying to impress you, but real character, that comes out in the small stuff. The moments they think no one's watching, the way they act when there's nothing to gain. And if you pay attention, you'll start to notice. Think about the friend who celebrated your wins like they were their own. They didn't get jealous, didn't downplay it. They just cheered for you. That's someone whose true colors are pure gold. Now think about the opposite. The person who hit you with that fake smile or that, oh, must be nice comment when you shared something good. That's all you need to know. I bet you've had a moment like that before. Maybe it was when you landed a job, started a relationship, or shared a dream you were excited about. The way people reacted stuck with you, didn't it? Because those reactions showed you exactly who they were. And let's not forget the "it's just a joke" people. You know the ones. They throw out a dig at your expense, see your face drop, and then laugh it off like it didn't mean anything. But you felt it. That moment told you everything. So here's a thought. What have you been missing? What moments have you overlooked because you wanted to believe the best in someone? And more importantly, what have your own small moments been telling people about you? Number 4, spread the message, honesty, humor, and real talk. Let's face it, the world is a wild place right now. Between the news, social media, and whatever's going on in our personal lives, sometimes it feels like we're all just trying to catch our breath. And you know what we really need more of? Honesty, humor, and a whole lot of real talk. Not the filtered, sugar-coated, Instagram-perfect version of life, but the stuff that's raw, relatable, and makes you go, finally, someone said it. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have one real conversation than 1,000 fake ones. You know the kind, those chats where you can be yourself without worrying about judgment. You're sitting with a friend, laughing until your face hurts, or venting about that thing you've been holding in. And suddenly you feel lighter, like, okay, maybe I'm not the only one going through this. Here's the thing, we all crave connection. Deep down, we're all looking for people who make us feel seen, heard, and understood. But connection starts with you. It starts with being brave enough to share your truth, flaws, quirks, and all. Maybe that means being honest about the hard stuff instead of pretending everything's fine. Maybe it means laughing at yourself when you mess up instead of getting defensive. Or maybe it's as simple as saying, hey, I don't have all the answers, but I'm trying. Because let's be real, life is messy, relationships are complicated, and none of us are getting out of here with a perfect scorecard. So why not just own it? Share the good, the bad, and everything in between. When you do that, you give other people permission to do the same. Think back to the times you've been struggling, and someone came through with the exact words you needed to hear. Maybe it was an "I've been there too" moment, or a joke that snapped you out of a funk. It didn't fix everything, but it made the weight a little easier to carry. That's the power of honesty. That's the magic of humor. You don't have to be the funniest or the wisest person in the room to make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is saying, "This is who I am. This is what I've been through." And you'd be surprised how many people are sitting there nodding along thinking, "Me too." So here's the question. What kind of conversations are you having? Are you keeping it surface level, or are you diving into the stuff that matters? Are you spreading joy, realness, and connection, or are you holding back? Because when you choose to be real, you don't just change your relationships, you change the room you're in. And if we can fill this world with more honesty and laughter, we might just make it a little less heavy for everyone. Number 5. Pay attention to the little things. Actions speak loudest. Have you ever noticed how the little things tell you the most about someone? It's not the grand gestures or the big speeches, it's the tiny moments that speak volumes. The way they look you in the eye when they say, "Thank you." How they check in on you just because, or how they treat someone who can't do anything for them. These moments don't come with fireworks or big announcements, but if you pay attention, they'll tell you everything you need to know. Here's a truth most people miss. Character isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the small ones. You see it in how someone acts when they're tired, frustrated, or stressed. You see it when there's no audience, no reward, and no reason to be kind except that it's the right thing to do. We all know people who talk a big game. They'll say the right things, make the big promises, and paint themselves as the hero in every story. But when push comes to shove, their actions don't match their words. And it's in those moments, the ones that seem insignificant, that their true colors shine through. Think back to a time when someone surprised you with their kindness. Maybe it was a stranger who helped you when you dropped your groceries, or the co-worker who stayed late to help you finish a project. It didn't take much, but you remembered it, didn't you? Why? Because small acts of kindness are powerful. They stick with us. Now think about the opposite, those tiny red flags you ignored. Maybe it was the friend who was rude to the server or the co-worker who took credit for someone else's work. At the time, you brushed it off like, "It's not a big deal." But deep down, you felt it. You knew it meant something. So here's what I want you to do. Pay attention. Notice how people act when they think no one's watching. Notice how they treat others when there's nothing in it for them. And most importantly, notice how you show up in those little moments too. Because whether you realize it or not, those small actions, they add up. They become your legacy. What are you putting out into the world? How do you show kindness, integrity, and respect when it's not required? because actions will always speak louder than words. And if you're paying attention, they'll tell you everything you need to know about others and about yourself. And there you have it. Sometimes it's the little things that say the most. The way people act when they think no one's watching, the energy they bring into a room, and the way they handle life's no moments all paint a picture louder than words ever could. Use those moments as your guide, not just to read others, but to check in with yourself too. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments, because you're officially part of the 0.01% who actually finish what they start. That says everything about you. And if you're serious about changing your life, growing, and surrounding yourself with the right energy, make sure you join our squad by hitting that subscribe button. Trust me, this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next one.